This St. FX Tech Ed instructional video is on how to rebuild a motocross and or motorcycle rear shock. Start by using a flat blade screwdriver to count the adjusters both at the bottom of the shock and at the top of the shock, and record their settings before moving them back to the fully counterclockwise position. The adjuster at the bottom of the shock marked tension is also referred to as the rebound adjuster. Once you've recorded its setting, set it all the way open, which is turning it counterclockwise. Repeat the process and turn the adjuster for the compression at the top of the shock all the way counterclockwise. Note the shock is mounted upside down in this vise for easy maneuverability and safe work holding. Next, measure and record the length of the spring as it is installed on the shock. Once your spring install length is recorded, use a drift and a hammer to release the locking collar, making sure you're spinning it counterclockwise. If you have to reset the shock in the vise or tighten it up, do so. Now rotate the spring counterclockwise to loosen off the spring preload collar in order to remove the spring from the shock. Once the spring has been removed from the shock absorber, call Mr. Blakely over the bench in order to get instruction on what to do next. With the shock absorber mounted upside down in the vise again, remove the reservoir cap and use a Schrader valve, just like on a tire, to remove the valve core and let the nitrogen out of the shock. The cap's now removed, so you can insert the Schrader valve removal tool, turning it counterclockwise to let the small amount of nitrogen pressure in the shock out. Using your thumbs, push evenly to move back the nitrogen reservoir cap, exposing the C-clip, and use a pick tool to remove the C-clip. The pick tool I suggest you use is in our Sonic toolbox. Black and red handle, says Sonic on it. It has a nice hook that helps to remove the C-clip quite easily. With the C-clip removed, grab a pair of pliers that can be used to grab onto the 10mm hex. Do not grab on the threads, grab the hex so that you can pull the nitrogen reservoir out of the shock. With the nitrogen reservoir removed from the body of the shock, place it over to the side on the bench with the other components, and then cycle the shock shaft slowly up and down to remove any of the remaining oil from inside of the shock body. This can take up to 3-4 minutes, moving the shock very slowly. Make sure you have a drain pan set up on the floor to catch all of the fluid so that it does not spill and make a mess. Using a drift and a hammer, remove the cap from the top of the shock body. Place it along the edge, short taps, making sure that the chisel or the drift does not slip and hit the chrome shaft. Next step is to use your hands again to lift out the seal head cover, push down the seal head assembly, and use the same pick tool to remove the C-clip from inside the shock body. Once the C-clip is removed, separate the shock shaft from the shock body. All you have to do is pull slowly and the seal head assembly will come right out. With the shock body and shock absorber completely disassembled, make sure you can name and identify all the components before cleaning anything or further disassembling anything. The last step you need to do with Mr. Blakely present is removing the piston and shim stack assembly from the shock shaft. To do this, special tools are required to hold the chrome shaft still so this top nut can be removed.